Hello everyone, and welcome to the Undisputed Heavyweight Champion of the World show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host as always, Richard Team, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. Yesterday was good. Good episode all around. Started off with a little bit of a rant and rave like we sometimes do here on the Fan Show when there's a hot button topic to be discussed, and that of course was the NFL's new anthem and flag policy, which, you know, I really hope for the day that this is but a memory. I mean, I don't know what this point in history will be once it becomes history. You know, like you look back, and as a Niners fan, of course, you can't help but remember the year that you were like one of the worst teams, but yet the focus was on you because your backup quarterback was refusing to stand for the anthem and then chose to kneel. And I remember I pointed out the fact that, like, what if this all started because he just legitimately forgot that the anthem was playing and that he needed to stand? Like, just, you know, and then let it snowball from there. But we're so far gone. We're so far beyond whatever may have been the initial reason behind Kaepernick's movement, but that's what it's become. It is a full-fledged movement now. Teams, players, sports around the world participating in kneeling or showing some form of protest to bring awareness to social injustice. I really just am blown away. But now, look, my opinions on Kaepernick are what they are, and I felt he could have chose a better way to protest. I don't feel like he was the one necessarily should have been leading that particular charge. But people change, and people can do the right thing, and I think that as long as what he's doing is genuine, then I'm fine with it. You know, as long as his heart's in the right place for doing the I Know My Rights campaign and donating money to help fund community outreach, things like that. If it ever becomes one of those things where it turns out that it was all just a whoopsie, that he turned into something because who his girlfriend is, or that you know, he was just in it for attention or what have you, then let's hope that at that point he will have done enough to sort of the ends justify the means kind of thing. Like when WWE, when people found out that the endings were scripted, like predetermined, and that storylines were scripted and manufactured, like it wasn't just like a oops, our bad. It was like, yeah, you know, that's how it works here. And they owned it, right? And I've always said if the NFL if it got out that the NFL was predetermined or scripted in any way, shape, or form at any point in time in its history, they need to just own it like WWE does. You can't whoopsie something like that, right? So new policy's out, and people are reacting, and there's a collective of, it feels like the people that are using hashtag NFL boycott or boycott NFL are the people that were the opposite of the boycott NFL last year, because last year people were boycotting because of protests going on and it was being allowed to go on. Then there were people that were allegedly boycotting because Kaepernick didn't have a job. My word, I can't even describe how educated we became on the value of a backup quarterback, or the education that we all suddenly got in the anthem's history, its lyrics, where it came from, what it meant, what it means, flag conduct, what you're allowed to do with the flag, around the flag, and just the experts that countless people became overnight on so many subjects was astonishing. It really was. So here we are now, another year, a policy change. The NFL trying to do its best to appease the masses and fail miserably because they don't get it. Like, so I'm a 49ers fan, and I'm going to watch their games because I don't feel like it's fair to punch the guys that have finally achieved their dream of playing in the NFL because of who they work for is stupid. And that's a hard pill to swallow right there, because I know that when it comes to getting a call from a debt collector, I want to talk to that person and be like, I know that you're not probably an asshole, but you work for an asshole company. So therefore, you're kind of guilty by association. And that's the look we want to take sometimes with things like this, with the NFL and with its players, because they're choosing to be employed by something that has taken the stance that they have. But it's so tough because you got 32 teams, each with a 53-man roster. Oh, man, how do you say that because of what 32 old white dudes decided in a room alone that you should punish the 53 on all 32 because of that. Now they chose to be in the NFL. They chose to pursue a dream, but I feel like when they were in the thick of it, they didn't know what they were going to be getting themselves into, right? Like at a college level when they started a few years ago, I think they realized that this would be happening. And for me, it would be really difficult if the media side of things changed drastically and I had to make a choice. But as far as the whole debt collector thing, it takes like a certain type of person to work for a debt collection agency. And so I'm not saying that they're completely innocent or not an asshole at all, because you have to pretty much choose to go work for that employer. Like, there's not some college degree that you can go get in debt collecting, and then all of a sudden when you get there, it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize that it was like this. It's like, do you live in America? Have you lived life like at all? Like, you've probably gotten a call from a debt collector, and it's the single most annoying just thing ever. And so people that go and work there, like, if you're tight for cash, I would almost prefer you go and, beg for change with a cardboard sign on a street corner than go and grade yourself enough to be like, yeah, I call people all day, every day to get money from them. It's just like, wow. And they're rude about it. So it is what it is. That's my little side there about debt collecting. We do have a good show for you this evening. Jay Hill makes his return. And I had a guess lined up for the end. Oh, it's going to be so great. But then he has schedule conflict, and we'll have to do it next weekend. Joe Stacy, though, there is, the floor is yours. You're on, Joe. Plain and simple. So we'll see. Maybe there's a trick up my sleeve or a surprise later on the show. But so go ahead. We'll look through the headlines. We'll do this thing. Boom. I think there should be another bump at the end there. Anyway, headlines, of course, this month are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises, who, if you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, which hopefully you're doing all three so that you're never missing a beat, you're always in the loop, I've got some shirts to go out, hand deliver to fine folks of Fan Nation who support Team Fan Show and everything that we do here, football and nonsense included. So I'm going to be making my rounds tonight, tomorrow, and through the weekend. For those that have placed orders so far, you can order a Fan Show shirt from me. You just got to reach out, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. If you've got my number, just hit me up, say, hey, I need a shirt. I can't guarantee that you're going to be within my driving distance of hand delivery, but I can certainly send one to you. A nice little note from me, a personal thank you for supporting the show. But yeah, I'm like Jimmy John's. It's freaky fast, but it's not 30 minutes or less. Okay, it's freaky fast if you live within a certain mile radius of where I am. So I will hand deliver if you're within that radius. If not, it's like, let's get your address, your info, and let's package this thing to you. We'll package it nice. We're not going to half-ass this thing. But those shirts are courtesy of Dynamite Enterprises, and it has been a real treat to work with Ethan, who is going to help customize your world. I mean, anything and everything that you want your logo or artwork on, he can help you achieve it. It's coasters, pens, thumb fingers, coffee mugs, hats, t-shirts, you name it, you dream it, you can do it. Embroidery or screen printing. I mean, he had so many trophies lined up. It's really anything that you look at around you right now in the room and be like, I wonder if I could put my logo on that. Dynamite Enterprises probably can't. So hit him up, dynamiteenterprises.com, ask for Ethan, tell him the Fan Show sent you, or that you heard about him, or like, hey, there's this thing I listened to, no idea what, but I heard Dynamite Enterprises. So and he'll probably know it's me, hopefully. But look, all the credit goes to him and his phenomenal work that he's been doing there with Dynamite Enterprises. So I can't wait to get these shirts to you lovely people of Fan Nation. And with that, the headlines today, of course, the backlash and the fallout of the NFL and its new policy. Of course, our president decided to weigh in on it, and it's like, there's something that he does good. I just wish that he would stop when it comes to things like this. It's like, if you're doing good, keep doing the good things. Just be quiet about this. But on NFL.com, around the NFL, President Donald Trump says the NFL, quote, did the right thing by implementing a new policy requiring players and league personnel on the sideline stand during the national anthem before game. Quote, I think that's good, Trump said about the policy during a Thursday appearance on Fox News. I don't think people should be staying in locker rooms, but still I think it's good. You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Or you should be playing, you should be there. Maybe you should be in the country. You have to stand proudly for the national anthem, and NFLers did the right thing. Did the right thing if that's what they've done. Under the changes approved by team owners at the Spring League meeting, players who don't want to stand during the anthem will be allowed to stay off the field. Individual clubs have the power to set their own policies to ensure the anthem is being respected during any on-field action. If a player chooses to protest on the field during the anthem, the NFL will fine the team. In addition, franchises have the ability to potentially fine players. The on-field protest became a central issue for NFL last September after Trump said he believed players should be fired for for not standing during the anthem. The policy adopted today was approved in concert with NFL's ongoing commitment to local communities and our country, one that's extraordinary in its scope, resources, alignment with our players, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said in a statement Wednesday, which we went over yesterday. So, this is the beginning. This is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now, this will not end well, because the NFL is just gotten in this habit of double dipping and trying to blend. And look, when you're a business, okay, I get it, right? Like, there's certain things I've caught myself not saying because I'm just like, I don't want someone to take the wrong way or get upset at me when this show is about that. So it's like when you're driving down football nonsense highway and then exit for politics, it's like, it's really easy to flirt with, like, do I exit here? No, I don't, because no. Stay the course. Stay in your lane, as Tennessee would say. Stay in your lane. That's in no way a reference to that whatsoever. Anyway, moving on. Tomorrow night, speaking of Steve Ranzizi, he's not on the show. Brad Williams is returning to the show. Live and on location from the Spokane Comedy Club. It's going to be a great time to have Mr. Brad Williams back. All 4 feet nothing of him, but he is a bundle of joy and a lot of laughs, and I always appreciate him on the show, so that's a lot of fun. Tomorrow, finally got Nonsense Friday. Back in the after a long time without it, so I hope you enjoy that. Because of that, I want to address that this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. We need to take a moment not to remember the hot dog buns for the hot dogs, not to remember the sleep bag in case yours gets wet, not to remember to fuel up before that last rest area and that you make it to your camping spot, and not to remember to go and take advantage of that great deal this Sunday, downtown Toyota. No, we need to remember the servicemen and women that gave their lives in the ultimate sacrifice, either during time of service in the wars or that served in a sense, left us, like my grandfather, who was a World War II vet in the Navy, and I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for military men and women. I have a best friend who's in the Navy, my uncle's in the Army during Vietnam. So it's, if you serve, thank you. It was simple enough. You are not forgotten. You are always remembered here on the Fan Show. I would love to get camouflage a version of my logo and slap those on some t-shirts and give them to servicemen and women. I really would. I don't want to charge them for that because it would be a thank you from us to you at the Fan Show. But yes, please remember, if there is a Veterans Memorial cemetery or monument somewhere near where you are or where you eat this weekend, please just take a minute and stop by. Stop by, have a minute of silence, even a quiet thank you, drop down flowers, whatever. I go and visit my grandfather's resting place every year on Memorial Day. They always do so well up there on that hill. American flags everywhere. I make sure that he got some fresh flowers in there. Him and my grandmother are buried together. And so they've got fresh flowers. I make sure that everything looks good, looks sharp, dusted up. But they usually keep it very well up there. So yes, Memorial Day weekend is this weekend. It's not about barbecue. It's not about camping. It's not about concert festivals. It's damn sure not about car sales. It is about servicemen and women. Which, I mean, the timing for the NFL to release this, yeah, sure, seemed like a good timing because of Memorial Day weekend. We're feeling the utmost patriotic, right? One of those 3 holidays: Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and then of course the 4th of July, when we just get red, white, and blue out the wazoo. But also that it's sort of cast a more negative spotlight in the NFL because we are going into Memorial Day weekend. The sacrifices made by the many so that many, many more could have certain freedoms that I feel that the NFL is borderline taken away. So that's my thoughts on that. But as far as in hockey news, the stage has been set. We know who is going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. We've known about the Vegas Golden Knights for about a week now, but who opponent be? Would it be the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Washington Nationals? It is the Washington Capitals. I said Nationals, didn't I? Well, Capitals this time. So the Washington Capitals will take on the Vegas Golden Knights. Washington finishes series 4-3. What series it was? I cannot wait for the Stanley Cup playoffs or finals to start because I'm getting into it. I've been into it kind of all season, flirting around with it, watched some action here and there, and I love it. I do. So all those of you that encourage me to get into hockey, thank you. It's been a wonderful ride, and I cannot wait to see how this amazing story ends. Obviously, it's a first for the Golden Knights. Just about everything that they do, everything that they've done this season, and now, I mean, they could be first franchise or expansion team to win the Stanley Cup playoffs or just any sports championship its first year, and how insane would that be? So, very excited for that. Of course, the NBA playoffs rage on. The Celtics beat the Cavaliers last night. They lead that series 3-2. They're 1 away from going to the NBA Finals. And in the Indoor Football League, we have a couple of matchups coming your way this weekend. There's BJ Hill going to join me in a little bit to talk more about the Blizzard. Their matchup this weekend, just how he feels about the remainder of the season. If they went out the 6-8, the record doesn't do them justice, and I said that on the show last. So this weekend, tomorrow, we have Green Bay Blizzard taking on Iowa Barnstormers. Are the Iowa Barnstormers looking too far ahead? Are the two for their britches? Can Green Bay capitalize on the hottest team in the IL and upset them at home to stay in the hunt for that 4th playoff spot? However, on Sunday, May 27th, the Nebraska Rangers take on a red-hot, angry Arizona Rattlers team who lost in overtime a walk-off 2-point conversion to the Iowa Barnstorm. Nebraska Danger fired head coach after a 6-game losing streak. That most recent loss to the Green Bay Blizzard. They currently hold not the fourth best record, yes, but the fourth playoff spot. Their record is 4-7. If they went out, they would end up being 8-7, which is not a pretty record to have into the playoffs like that. But still, you want to fit that way going into playoffs like this instead of losing this one and then Green Bay losing out and you get into by sheer process of elimination. That's what we've got this week. And for the Indoor Football League, for the National Arena League, we have today the Jacksonville Sharks are shipping up to Boston to take on the Massachusetts Pirates. And then that's going to be it for that week. Carolina on a bye week, Columbus on a bye week, the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks on a bye week, and the Maine Mammoth on a bye week. So just one should be a good one, though. This could potentially be a rivalry. But then June 2nd, all 6 teams are back in action. Pirates and Mammoths, Lions, Sharks, Cobras, and Steelhawks are your lineup for the following weekend. So really just kind of chilling, just kind of relaxing for this weekend. We got 3 great matchups from the NAL and the IFL combined, so it should be a great time. I'm very excited for it. But big shout out to Ethan once again and Dynamite Enterprises for those shirts. Cannot wait to go and hand deliver some of these guys. Going to be a lot of fun. With that, we're going to go to a commercial break, and when I come back, BJ Hill of the Green Bay Blizzard. We'll be right back with more of the show after this.
This is the heat.
It's me all red up. My face is red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's so raw. He's so raw. The sky hates it.
Yeah, he had 51 touchdowns, 4,900 total yards.
I don't like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good. Yeah, they win the Big Ten if they're in the Big Ten. Could do something vision-based in front of each down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
To him, kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. Proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You know, you walk outside, step in a puddle, like right, walk outside. I mean, how's your puddle right outside the house? Are you stand on the curb and somebody drives, splash water on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, if you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks.
Good. Here, listen to you, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10, right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
This is Nick Ficarelli, Next on Sports. Join me and Dr. Derek Jones live every Saturday night anytime from the man on Sports. To get the T-Stem Rock Board, I guess I will be rolling in. And Scientist Sports, only on the WBLZ Sports. We got it.
Doug Heffer paint and pressure washing. He has over 30 years of paint experience. He's interior, exterior, commercial, or residential. Doug Peffer covers it all. Is your house looking ugh? We'll call on Doug. Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361. Mention WBLZ Sports and get a special We've Got Balls discount. That's Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing. 404-966-3361.
Check out Thursday Night Tailgate, where NFL legends live on. We bring you 5 NFL legends every week, sharing their stories and insights, plus our spotlight on the positive. Here's plus are doing great things in the communities. Now on WBLZ Sports Radio and WBLZSports.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Joining me now is a man who just can't be stopped. It defies age and defies all logic, and it won't be denied by any player or whole team, as Nebraska Danger found out the hard way. It's BJ Hill. How you doing, BJ?
Great, I'm good. How are you?
Really good, man. I'm sad, though, at the realization that I was talking to Andre McDonald the other night about that. I said, for you guys, you know, I say that there's plenty of football left. There's just enough football left to be played. So you guys... You've got 2 wins now, 2 out of your last 3. You win 2 more, the winning streak in Nebraska, whatever happens with them. If it comes down to a tie, you guys would hold the tiebreaker. What's your veteran mindset going, moving forward in the season?
For us right now, it's one game at a time. We can't look too far ahead. We've got to take this one game at a time. And, Iowa is one of those teams that is, they begin the season, they probably didn't know how good we're going to be, but they know. And we had 2 losses to them first of the season and a couple weeks ago. So we stay in the task at hand, and we have to have a mindset of just taking 1 week at a time.
Now, you guys have had some adversity, to say the least. In fact, that's how Brian Hicks and Ray McDonald summed up season they could in one word, adversity. And I think that it speaks volumes, the fact that you guys keep fighting. I think that's a Green Bay mentality, but I also think that that's something that you can't teach guys. I don't know about you being a Hall of Famer and a vet as far as when it comes to making sure that you're your best no matter what your record is or what the sport says. But what's the mood and the maturity level and everything that's been in your eyes with that locker room, given everything that's gone on this season?
We've really been through adversity for sure, and we've shot ourselves in the foot quite a few times as well. So, I've always been able to pride myself on being able to navigate through adversity pretty well. We all have tribulations all about how you deal with them, and we've been able to weather the storm as of late over the past couple of weeks. And my mindset, guys, is right now lead by example. There's not much more than be said at this point in time because if you have it, you don't have it. So my mindset is leading by example, and hoping the guys take this and follow my lead.
Well, you got new head coach Corey Robertson, who I think has done a great job for you guys. Obviously, Brian Hicks is like your third quarterback now. He's sort of the new kid in that locker room, and a lot of people expect the quarterback to display some matter of leadership. But you, being the veteran Hall of Famer on the squad, did Coach Robertson have any kind of conversation with you when he took over, like, hey, this is what I need from you, or has it just sort of been like an unspoken understanding between you guys?
Me and Coach Robertson go back a long ways. We were on the same team together in 2010, and then he transitioned to coaching in 2012. So we have a really long relationship. So it's something that's always been understood. And I've been blessed enough to be captain, since my second year playing. So he may not say it, but I know he can lean on me to make sure the guys are saying of what we need to do and the kind of mentality that we need to have. So I would say that it's an unspoken understanding for sure.
And that's fair enough. I think that you've done an outstanding job with your position on that squad because, last time we talked was, how great you were doing with the kick turns and everything. And then, of course, Corey Ringer, and you guys are both pretty much on the same mindset that you love being, the great performer, the deep threat on the special teams, but at a certain point, they stop kicking to you. So if they stop kicking to you, is that where you're almost like kind of a spectator at that point, just making sure that the guys, they got their minds right and everything on the sideline, out on the field?
I've been through this before. So, it's not a surprise to me that we got at this point during the season. It's just like in basketball when your shot's not falling, you gotta find some way to help the team. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been able to do at this point in time. Being able to get the offensive spark and be able to create more production and give defense something else to worry about.
So you guys are in an interesting situation, one that I've never been too big of a fan of, and that's when you don't control your own destiny. Now, you guys have the 2 wins over Nebraska. You're 2 games behind them for the 4th playoff spot with just enough left to play where if the dominoes fell just right, you guys would get in there. But obviously, it's not a matter of when and you guys have a tough schedule. So for you, being around the block a few times, is there such a thing like, I don't know, like a moral victory? Like if you guys were to beat Iowa after the game they had against Arizona, or if you guys were to, win the rest of the season and maybe not even make the playoffs, but, something along those lines where it's like, given what your season has been and what it could be, do you sort of take what you can get at this point?
Definitely not. I don't believe in moral victories. There's good things and bad things you could take away from each game, no matter what the outcome. Like I said, we've had some adversity for sure, stuff that you don't want to deal with as a football team, but we've also shot ourselves in the foot quite a bit too. So, we deserve to be where we are. It's just now how do we respond the last 4 games of the season? So it would be, and we've fought in every game that we've been in. Yeah. So, I mean, you can turn on the film and see that. So, we're not giving up by any means, but it shouldn't be of any surprise that, we get into a dogfight against Iowa. That shouldn't be a surprise across the league.
Yeah, and you guys played them tough that first game of the season. I thought your guys' defense did really well. You guys have had some big losses on both sides of the ball, specifically the defense as far as some of the leaders and veterans on that side and playmakers. But you guys have, overcome through it all, and that speaks volumes for your guys' obviously competitive nature and the heart that you have in that squad and locker room. For you, have you reached the point in the season where you're starting to think about next year, like any sort of thought to if it's going to be, this was your last ride and you wanted to give it a go regardless of the outcome, or do you feel that now you've scratched the itch that you kind of have enough left in the tank to come back for one more, and then after that maybe one more, and we'll see what happens year to year?
Yeah, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves right there, Richard. It's been a long season, and because of the adversity, I don't mind adversity. I mean, you grow through it. So,
yeah.
I welcome that. If there's no adversity, you're not going to grow at all. So I welcome that. But, with this being such a long season, your body goes through so much throughout a 14, 15 game season. I tell every guy that comes in here, there's two things that's undefeated in this game. It's the wall and it's the turf. And so, those two things are, 1 million and 0. So, I mean, those things take a toll on your body. And so for me, I try to take things one day, 1 week at a time, get myself right for the next week. They do say that you recover slower as you get older. I mean, I experienced that a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It takes me a couple more days to get ready. But, for me, I want to focus on the task at hand, which is trying to get us back to the playoffs. We haven't been there since 2012. So, to have that opportunity, albeit we do need some help, but to have that opportunity sit in front of us after starting our 0-7, that's pretty big.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it would be one hell of a turnaround. It really has been one hell of a turnaround. I mean, Nebraska has the record, but nobody seems to realize until they actually see the stats that, this is they're coming off their, I think, 6th loss in a row. So they started out really strong, but, you guys, I think, have shown the most growth of any team that would be technically in the bottom 3, and that's really good for you guys. As a veteran, when you look around the Green Bay locker room, is there anyone that stands out to you as a leader, future leader, and what was sort of the quality or moment that you said, that guy is going to be that guy in the locker room for years to come?
Yeah. So we took, I'm pretty sure every team does this, but we took a vote on captain, and, I was pretty pleased with the guys that they came up with. It's 4 of us, and, you see us walk out.
Yeah.
During the coin toss. And, I feel like, and I didn't know this guy last year because I wasn't on the team, but I feel like Manny has taken, a 180-degree turn from, being maybe a little bit quieter last year and just kind of sitting back and observing to being a little bit more vocal this year. And so I can definitely say I'm very proud of the growth that he's portrayed from camp to now. So, and he's showing that on the field too, gutting through injuries and, playing hard to every whistle. So I would definitely say he is the guy that vocally, other guys will listen to besides myself.
Yeah, Manny's a good guy. I've had him on the show a few times and met him, and he's always got a really good head on his shoulders. But, it's a big locker room, and you never know when you face adversity how things are going to be received. Is adversity something that you could say adds, like, years to your career? Like, if you're a rookie and you've been through a season like this, if you went to another team somewhere that you can say, I've been there, I've been through it, like, this is how you get ahead of it? Or is it something that only comes with the actual, like, days and months of experience under your belt?
I think a little bit of both. I think the earlier you go through it, the better off you are, because you can say, if you move on to a different team or to a different situation, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. This is familiar. I have an idea of how this is going to go. And then you can kind of create a plan of action to get through it. So, for the young guys that are on our team that, have seen the transition in coaching staff and the, guys who are getting signed, coming in and out and stuff, that's good to see early, because you don't see that in college. That's not something. It's the same 110 guys.
Yeah.
It's the same guys. So, getting used to being a pro, is something that is going to bode well for them. Getting older. It's, if you get a chance to go to CFL, AFL, or NFL, it's the same thing. It's a business, and so learning how to navigate through adversity is going to be key for them moving on in their playing careers, but also the rest of their life too, because you're not gonna skate through this thing without going through something. So, why not learn how to do it now so you can be better for it.
Hey man, that was great. The way that you said that, I don't think I could have put it into better words myself. So, last question here for you, and it's a big one. Is of course this matchup against Iowa, probably the hottest team in the league right now, coming off game of the year in my mind. That win against Arizona in Arizona. What would a win against these guys mean for you and everything that you guys have had to go through this season? Even though it's not obviously the last game, it's not playoffs or championship, it would just be a real statement victory in my mind by you guys. But to you personally, how do you think it would be, felt in the locker room?
2 words: still alive.
Still alive.
Still alive. Still got a fighting chance. In everybody's minds, we need to figure out a way to go 4-0 these last 4 games, and that's to be able to look at the end of the season and say, okay, well, let's see how the math shakes out. For us, probably underperformed a little bit the first game. The second game, we shot ourselves in the foot, but that's a good football team. They got the number 1 defense in the league. Their quarterback is a very skilled guy. He can run around a little bit, and so. We have to be prepared, and I think we're doing a great job of that. But, to come away with a win for us, morale-wise, is going to be great. For our owners, it's going to be great because we've got a great ownership group, and it's really hard to come back home on a 6 to 8 hour drive on a loss. So, we want to try to get this one for sure.
Yeah, 4 wins in a row. If you guys went 4-0, that puts you at 6-8, and I think that the record wouldn't do what you guys would have accomplished justice, just because it would be you guys won 6 of your last 7, and that all came in the second half of the season. So I think whatever you guys are doing, whatever Kool-Aid you're drinking there, keep doing it, because it's always Green Bay games, man. They're always fun to watch because you guys always bring it, and you're going to have to against Iowa. And I think it should be a really great matchup. I hope everybody tunes in. But BJ, once again, man, thank you for the time. Always a pleasure to talk to a vet and a Hall of Famer. So it's a privilege to have you on again.
I appreciate you having me, man. It's been a pleasure.
All right, man. You take care. You have a good night.
All right, you too.
And once again, that was B.J. Hill of the Green Bay Blizzard, veteran, Hall of Famer, all-around fantastic guy. Speaking of all-around fantastic, have you heard about co-working through Praxis? Praxis is Spokane's newest co-working space, and they want to help you be a better you. Help them help you by signing up for some fantastic space that they have for lease right now. 3,500 square feet. Comes with a small kitchenette, an office. You've got a conference room. All these recreational and business amenities. There's no fees, no minutes, no usage limitations when you sign up with Praxis. $275 a month, or possibly a discounted rate if you choose to sign up for a longer term commitment. 3 is the magic number right now. 3 months is what they're looking to do. So hit them up, praxiscoworking.com, Robbie, R-O-B-B-I, at praxiscoworking.com as well. Fantastic individuals for a fantastic cause. They celebrate entrepreneurs. I should know I'm one of them. I was the recipient of the 2018 Entrepreneurship Award for Best Media because Praxis decided that we should not only acknowledge and represent our entrepreneurs well, but we should celebrate them. And so if you're looking for a working space, I cannot encourage you enough to go and seek out Praxis. Sign up. If you're in the Spokane area, you don't have an excuse not to check them out. I mean, just give them a call. Just go and check out their space. They're above Rocket Bakery, down 157 South Howard Street, 4th floor of the Holly Mason building. It's a fantastic location, and it is a 9-minute walk from a riverfront park. So if you're interested in being yourself at work, it's like casual Friday every day. I wore a t-shirt to my job yesterday because it was some special celebration day, and it's just like, yeah, I just wear green. We don't care if it's a t-shirt. So normally I have to wear like polos or button-ups or wear like a jacket over it. And let me just tell you, I don't have a lot of polos or button-ups, okay? I just don't. I have suits, and my suits are for fan show purposes only and the tour, okay? So my suits don't just go out for the day job. They go out for the job. And speaking of the job, if you want to pursue your dream for your job, which is the dream, the job, entrepreneurs everywhere, unite! Praxis Co-working wants to help you out. They want to get you set up with a really awesome space in their area. So hit them up, praxiscoworking.com in the Spokane area. Be yourself at work. And with that, we are winding down this episode of The Fan Show. Like I said, my second guest dropped out last minute. So we're going to try something fun here. We're going to see if a certain individual answers their phone. So give me just a second here. This is going to be funny. It's not a birthday. It's not a birthday call out. They said they had a story for me that when I called them last time, they wanted to know if I wanted to hear the story or save it for the show. I said, you need to save that for the show. So let's see if they answer and we can get a story out of them. It's ringing. That's a good sign. Pick up. Pick up. I know you're on your way home.
Hello?
Leveland Rob, what's going on?
What's up, brother?
Nothing. You're on the show right now because my last guest dropped out and I needed a filler for like 10 minutes.
Oh, so that's all I am to you is a filler?
You are.
Screw you, Keeman.
You are a fan show booty call right now.
You know, I suppose in the grand scheme of things, it could be worse.
It could be a lot worse. But I remembered that this was probably the perfect opportunity for that story because I said I wanted to save it for the show. So if you answered, I was like, we're going to have him tell his Hebner story, and we could all get a good laugh going into our weekend.
Right, the Hebner story. Okay. All right, so I will try and be as concise as possible, but just know that I'm generally long-winded. So
That's okay.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, so I went to so I guess I should give you a little bit of backstory first. I used to be a sports writer a long time ago. Covered the minor league hockey team in Cleveland. Back when they were the top affiliate for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So I was there for an Sunday afternoon game, and later that night they actually had a house show there, a WWF house show, and I had been trying to get an interview with Bret Hart. didn't have any luck connecting with the PR guy.
Swing for the fences there, Rob. I
yeah, well,
you.
there was a reason behind this because he had actually at the time he had just purchased a controlling interest in the Calgary Hitmen junior hockey team.
Oh, okay.
So I had, as a hockey writer, I had a nice little segue into getting that interview.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyhow, I wasn't able to connect with the PR guy the Friday beforehand. So I figured, well, I'm going to be there anyhow. I'm just going to hang around after the game and see what happens. So I had my press credential there, and I know all the security guys. So it wasn't like a huge, weird thing that I was roaming around there. So waited, and people started to slowly start to filter in. Bret is nowhere to be found. Show starting, no Bret Hart. So kind of waiting around, finally found the PR guy, introduced myself. He said he would try and help me out as best he could. Still nothing. So I'm wandering around, kind of hanging out backstage, trying to stay out of the way, not bother anybody. PR guy comes back with Dave Hebner, says, "Hey, Dave, this is Rob. He's here waiting for Bret to do a story on him." And it was like instinctively, as soon as the guy looked at me, I could tell he did not want me back there. He just wasn't really being a dick at first, but just wasn't being overly friendly.
Yeah, I know those people. I know those types.
Yeah. So, but he said, fine, whatever, just kind of stay here, stay out of the way, whatever. So I kind of did that, just, was trying to stay there, mind my own business. A couple guys came back, walked by, kind of nodded to them when they walked by, but didn't bother them. About an hour later, I could see him kind of looking at me from a distance. He walks over, says, "Hey, why don't you go sit out here outside of the gates, whatever, until the show's over." Didn't think anything about it. Went back there, sat out, watched the rest of the show from outside. Show was over. No Bret still. Went backstage, still looking around. The Bret had already, at this point, come and wrestled and gone out. So I went backstage, backstage again, figure I'll catch him back there. So I'm back there and I'm waiting again, standing around, not bothering anybody. All of a sudden I look over and sure enough, there's Hebner again. And he's looking towards me. He's talking to one of the security guards and he is very clearly upset with the fact that I am backstage. And all of a sudden I look over there and I can very hear him point at me and go, that asshole right over there. And I'm like, okay. So the security guard, and again, the security guard knew me from the hockey games. He kind of walks up to me. He's like, look, man, I'm really sorry. I know you're not doing anything wrong, but he's got a bug up his ass. He doesn't want you back here. So I'm like, I started like, hey, no worries. I know you're doing your job. No big deal. So as I'm walking away, he's like, hey, come here. He's like, go out that door. So that's where all the wrestlers leave when they're leaving the building. So if you go hang out there, you'll probably be able to get who you're looking for. It's like, cool, thanks. So I went out there, stood out there for about 15 minutes, and sure enough, Brett came out. I got my interview, and that was that.
Well, no thanks to Hebner. Like, no thanks at all.
Oh, no thanks to Hebner at all.
To that man.
No, he was pretty much a dick, but.
Okay, so I got to ask this question. It's a very important question. During this time that you were there, were you wearing a suit?
No.
Okay, dude, you got to do. If there's one thing I can teach the world of media and being backstage is that if you have a suit on, they don't mess with you.
That is a good point. But to be fair, during my time there, I had never worn a suit and was always used to being backstage without a suit. In hindsight, were I to do it again, yeah, I probably would have done that.
Like, so I've been to Iowa twice, and Connor Ferguson is their, pretty much their beat writer there, like what you did for the hockey team, he does for the Barnstormers. Yeah. And it's so funny because he'll be there lanyard. He's got his camera with his giant lens around his neck, and he's got, like a Barnstormers t-shirt and whatever. But he's clearly displayed, right, with the lanyard and everything else. And he was making the joke to me after the last time that I was there. He was just like, you've been to 2 Barnstormer games, and if there were velvet ropes, they would pretty much part for you because of the suit, where I'm here every game, and I still get hassled by security because they don't know me yet.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's like, look, man, what's funny is that when I started wearing the suit, it was strictly for the first impression, just to present myself in a manner like I belonged there, right? And I didn't want to come in with a t-shirt and jeans and have other guys that are on camera or up in the broadcast booth that have polos and suits on look at me like, what are you doing here? So I suited up hard. Like, I had a polo one time and I was like, this look just isn't going to work for me. So I did the suit and tie thing. And since then it's been like a staple of what I do. And I'm not saying that like anybody that wears a suit is going to get all access to any event that they go to, but I'm just saying that if you wear a suit and if you conduct yourself like you belong where you're wandering to, there's no like 3 glances at the security guard with that nervous kind of out the side of your eye look, like, is he gonna, or okay, I'm gonna keep going. Like, you've got to just like walk A to B, like, the inwards and outwards of the arena and everything. And that would be probably one of the biggest things that I could say to anybody trying to get an interview from anyone backstage is suit up, act like you've been there before, and walk around like you own the damn place. So I just love that David Hebner was no help whatsoever to you, but you still got it done. That's like a proud fan show moment right there.
Oh, absolutely. I will give you two good excerpts from that evening. First is, as I was waiting for Brett out in the parking lot, Undertaker came out.
Oh my God.
And I was standing there, just happened to turn around, and there he is at his car with Paul Bearer. And we had this moment where he looked and saw me, I looked and saw him, and I obviously had that moment of, oh my God, it's The Undertaker, come across my face right there. And he responded with a similar just look that said, don't even think about coming near me, you fucking twerp. And got in his car, and that was that.
Now, you said that this is a house show, and yet Bret Hart and The Undertaker are there. Like, what version?
Well, this was mid. Let me see. This would have been January of '96, I think.
So the peak of the Attitude Era, where they weren't. It wasn't like it was unheard of.
No, this was before. This was before Attitude Era even started.
Oh, was it?
Because as a matter of fact, one of the guys who I was not bumped into, but standing next to, and was trying not to bother, was a Steve Austin before he was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Here, when they first brought him in, they actually brought him in under the moniker of the Ringmaster.
Yeah,
and he was still doing the Ringmaster gimmick at that time.
Because I'm thinking, so 99, I was in 7th grade, and 8th and 9th grade was when WWE was really hitting its stride with like The Rock and Triple H and The Undertaker. And so for you to say 96, like they must have really just ran headfirst into the Attitude Era, because then it was get the F out when they had to rebrand, and then they started getting into TV PG. So, I wonder if it was like, everybody talks about how like the Beatles revolutionized music, and they were like the band of a whole generation, but they were only together for like I think 6 years total or something, and it's just not one of those things that you really think about. So I wonder like how long exactly the Attitude Era was, and if it would blow people away to know, well, technically it was from this date to this date. So yeah, a lot happened, but it wasn't a very long ride.
Yeah, I want to say it was probably, like 4 or 5 years.
God, man, that's crazy to think. I figured a decade at least for that, but no, you're right. I think, 4 or 5 years tops. But that's really funny, though. I had a similar run-in with WWE. So the first one was the NXT live event that I went to and got credentialed for, and I didn't get any kickback from the guys there. Of course, NXT at that time, its main event was Samoa Joe and Austin Aries. Finn Balor was tag teaming. Bayley and Nia Jax were a thing, and you had American Alpha and No Way Jose were like some of the biggest attractions. So this is like NXT right around its peak area, but yet it's still not drawing the interest at its house shows because this is the first time that it's ever done it. So I didn't really run into a lot of problems. The guy who runs the NXT tours and house shows was a super cool guy. He walked me from one side to the other. I got to walk across the little stage area where they come out, and then I found my seat and watched the show from there and got some photos and everything. Then when SmackDown Live came through for their live event, that's when I ran into the thing, because I'm there and I go down and it's an empty arena and there's guys working out in the ring. Ellsworth was one of them, and we were talking about his drive from Boise to Spokane. And I take a picture of me in front of the ring, and all of a sudden here comes the biggest black dude in security that you can find, right? There's always that guy. Comes up, hey man, what are you doing here? And it's like I show him my pass, and I explain to him, I drop the name of who I've been in contact with, the guy that escorted me out there, and he like makes me like show him the last like 10 pictures on my phone, which thank God there was nothing risque on there at the time. And it must have been a slow week, but he makes me delete the picture, which apparently people don't know that when you delete a picture, it's still not deleted because it goes into a folder called deleted that you can restore. So I wait for the doors to open. I go and I recover it and I post the damn thing, because that was his big stink, was that I was there before the doors were open. And I was just like, but I'm not paying admission, like I'm media to be here. So it was just one of those complicated things. WWE, I don't know if there's a more picky and complicated just front office to really work with when it comes to what people can and can't do that aren't affiliated with that company. It's just it's crazy.
No, they're very. I think I've heard that they've kind of loosened it up in the last 20-ish years, but I know that like way back in the day they were very. I mean, like just as they were kind of starting to become. The secret was getting let out. That it wasn't real and all that. But they used to be notoriously bad about that for a long time.
So that was fun, but then another run-in I had, I don't know why, but I had probably the worst time of any front office with Spokane's team of all, the one that's here in my home city. When their front office, their second year, first year was great. We worked side by side together. I had interviews lined up each week for the players. I covered the team exclusively. And then the next year it's like, oh, so there was an incident last year that they didn't tell me about, and an incident that upset some fans, which it didn't. And it was something that I thought was so petty and just small that I was really blown away. My friend was in town, who's a Navy vet. He's finally out now. He was in town. I got him tickets to it, and the friend that he came with ended up leaving at halftime because the sitter had to go home sick. So he's sitting there in the front row by himself. So I go and I keep him company for like a quarter. And apparently that is just like a huge no-no. But yet there's like other people that will sit in seats, and it's not like there's not enough space to go around. So that apparently upset people in the front office enough where they didn't credential me until midway through the season when the then director of operations left for another gig and they got a new one. But even then I still got harassed by security and stuff because I just couldn't win with these guys.
There?
Yeah, I'm here. Rob.
Yo,
you hear me?
Oh, yeah. You like went silent for a minute.
Okay. So, yeah, I got harassed by them in security, and this is my hometown team. I have no idea why. I don't know what bugs were up their asses, but, yeah. It's,
you know what it was?
It's tough.
You know what it was?
What?
It was a suit.
Come full circle back to the suit. Well, Rob, I appreciate you being able to fill in and be my fan show booty call for this Thursday. I got a Friday episode tomorrow, but it's not going to be like regular episodes. It's live and on location with Brad Williams, but it's Memorial Day, so try to forget that it's not really about car sales and barbecues and and all the red, white, and blue things that you can wear at a single time, but that it's about those who served. So I hope you and the fam have a good weekend and some fun things planned. But if anything, just relax and enjoy a 3-day weekend. That's all I can really say.
Thank you, my friend. You do the same.
All right, man. You have a good night.
You too, brother.
That's Cleveland Rob, or Leveland Rob. Always a hoot. That asshole right there. God, I could just picture it, man. It's tough being media. It is sometimes, because it's like there's stereotypes for media, but both good and bad. You're either good media or you're bad media. I'd like to consider myself good media because, I'd love to break a story. I really would. I'd love to break a story. I don't want to get the dirt on anyone, really, just because it's not what I'm about. But I'd love to break a story. I really would. I think it'd be a lot of fun, but and a good moment for me and the show and the brand. But for right now, I'm just having too much fun, being a platform and a show that people look forward to coming on. Like, this isn't like they're appearing on Fox News where it's just like, oh God, what are they going to ask me? It's just like, oh, hey man, you got a free spot next week? Like, hey, let's do this. Let's talk about this. Okay, yeah, why not? And they don't even bother to ask me beforehand anymore, like what questions I'm going to ask them. They just trust that I'm going to keep it light, keep it entertaining, and have fun with it. I love these guys, and I'm going to treat them with the utmost respect because that's that working relationship we've talked about. So don't forget, if you missed tonight's episode, any of it, or any of this week's episode, which we've had a great week on the Fan Show, we wrap it up tomorrow night, live and on location, Spokane Comedy Club. Brad Williams, very funny guy, should be a lot of fun. But you can subscribe iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com/user/The Fan Show. That has podcast episodes available as well, including every episode that we've ever done since we became The Fan Show. And it's also where you can listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And you can follow us Twitter, Instagram, like us on Facebook, Snapchat. And then, of course, there is thefanshow.com, your home base for all things football and nonsense. Download the WBLZ Sports app. Listen to my show. Replays the day after at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. And there's just so many other great shows, football, nonsense, and much, much more available on there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for another fantastic episode and for joining me this evening. Best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners. And remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.